Okay, this is like take number 12. I swear to God, you'd think this would be easier now that I have a tripod and the camera and the whole setup. But anyhow, I'm going to talk about anger. It goes along a lot with fear. Anger is typically a mask for fear and pain. So what I mean by that is I am afraid of something either you've done to me in the past or of something that will happen in the future. Either way, it's not living in the present moment. And typically fear will manifest as anger. And that's where people will act out or lash out at other people. And honestly, you have to get to the root of the fear to eradicate the anger. It's rarely personal. If I get pissed off at someone, that's my problem, not theirs. So it's not about what the guy down the street or the girl at work did to me. It's my reaction to what they were doing. So it's per se personal. You know, they might be just going about their day and I took things the wrong way because I have all this other crap going on at home or whatever. So you kind of react in that way, and that's where problems happen and tempers flare, and next thing you know, it's all downhill from there. 9.5 times out of 10, it is your ego talking, and that's more like I need to be right, and I need you to know why I'm pissed off at you, even though you don't even care or realize anything was wrong. I need you to know that you hurt me and I'm most important and I'm going to tell you about it, and there'll probably be some cuss words there. And, you know, it's just a whole, you know, shitstorm of ego. And that's how the ego just gets fed and fed and fed and gets bigger, and you know, huge problems come from that. I read a book, Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., I think it's called The 5 Levels of Attachment, and in it he talks about how we fight with, say, you know, between like spouses or mother and child, whatever. I come home, I had a crappy day at work, and I just unleash on my husband and give him all my pain and all my anger and all the crappy stuff that happened during the day. Well, he takes that and adds his stuff to it, where, you know, he had a bad day at work and this and this happened, and then he gives some more back to me. So he's taking mine plus his, giving it back to me, and then I'm going to throw some more on top of it, and it just keeps going back and forth like this horrific tennis match of anger, and it never ends until someone breaks the cycle and says, hey, stop, let's everybody breathe, and everybody just calm down. Anger is such a hateful, evil, destructive thing. You know, there's a Buddhist quote that says you will be punished by your anger, not for it. And by that, I think it means, you know, I have done things, I have said things out of anger that, like right now, are even making me cringe, that I think about them, and I just think, if I would have just taken a minute to breathe and settle myself down and remove myself from the situation, I wouldn't have said the hateful things I said to people I love or friends that I care about, or even, you know, someone I don't even know that I maybe got pissed off for whatever reason and reacted to them, and they didn't deserve that. You never know what someone's going through, and they're just trying to get through their day and do their job, and I was a hateful punta to them for no reason whatsoever other than I spewed my ego out on them. There's a meditation technique called Vipassana where you sit completely still for an hour up to like 2-3 hours at a time. No moving, no fidgeting, no scratching, nothing. And when a discomfort or an itch arises, you must A, observe it, B, do nothing, and C, let it pass. And what that trains you for is basically when things happen in your life that are uncomfortable or cause you great discomfort or whatever, the bigger things in life, you allow it, you notice it, allow it to come, do nothing, and let it pass. You can't fix a problem from the same kind of like wavelength that it was created. So that's the idea behind that. You have to wait, do nothing, let it go, and then go back. If it's a situation that actually needs to be addressed or rectified, you go back from a different mindset, a clearer mindset, where you can say, you know what, this happened, and I need you to understand where I'm coming from and why that's not okay. Not, you pissed me off, I'm going to tell you about it. Come to it like an adult. Come to it like a grown-ass person. And, this is something I practice and not always do great at. But it's something that I kind of strive to do. And, over time, something will stick. So if you practice it, something will stick. So if you can Google Vipassana, it's Vipassana. If you're interested in doing that, or I can do a video on that. It's not really that exciting. It's basically you sit still for as long as you possibly can and don't move, and train your body to do that. My grandmother used to tell me, and this kind of goes along with, you can't fix a problem from the same wavelength that you created it. My grandmother used to always say, when I first got married, don't go to bed angry. And I'm calling bullshit on that. You go to bed angry. Let me tell you why. There have been so many times that I'm just twisting the knife in, and we're just head to head, and we're getting nowhere, and it's going on, and I'm sure my husband's real happy I'm sharing all this, but we're fighting. I've been married 21 years. We're fighting, and it's not ending. So, I slam something, stomp upstairs, and go to bed. I wake up the next day, and I'm like, what was I pissed off about again? I forget. Or if I wake up and I actually do remember what had me in such a tizzy, I'm like, you know what? If the world ended, or if I died tomorrow, is that really going to be important? Do I really give a shit about that? No. So, moving on. So, I think sometimes you have to go to bed angry so you can wake up in a clearer headspace, put some time, and move it from there. And sometimes, and it's not just, spouses, friends, co-workers, whatever. Sometimes you just literally have to remove yourself from the situation and say, you know what, I need to get on out of here before I run my mouth. And sometimes that saves relationships. Sometimes it saves your ass from getting, putting yourself in hot water even further. All these emotions, fear, pain, anger, they're all here to teach you something. I think anger is the one that is the hardest to learn. Kind of fear and anger are neck and neck, but I think anger is the one that's hardest to learn for most people, myself included, just because it is so easy to give into it and just go there and drive the ice pick into somebody's heart and just twist it and keep, because I need to be right. My ego is first. So if any of this makes sense, I know I feel like I'm kind of all over the place, but there is a method to my madness, and I have learned that if anything has taught me about anger, it is to just observe, let it go, and come back when you have a clearer head. It is not that important for your ego to be number one. It is not that important to ruin a friendship. Words can be forgiven, but more often than not, they're not forgotten. So if you say something, I've said things that I'm thinking, I ought to be ashamed of myself, and it makes me cringe. You can't always go back and act like it didn't happen. You can't always unspill the milk, so to speak. So if you can take time, just breathe, count to 10. Like I said, count to 152 if you have to. Remove yourself from the situation. And I feel like you will have so much more peace in your life if you are able to just maybe apply a few of those things. So if that makes any kind of sense to anybody, you know, I am grateful. I am grateful to be able to share this information with you. So I hope that some of it made sense.